Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Have a couple of questions for you. Is your schedule out of control? You got too many commitments? Some items on that list are one off, some items are in one calendar and not in another calendar. You don't have any breathing room. You can't take a breath. Let's talk about that. My name is Florence. I'm here with you this evening. Welcome to Purpose for Productivity, where we talk about how to get friction out of your productivity system. I work with you, that is, leaders, nonprofit, faith based, business, small business owners, to solve your productivity challenges so you can achieve your purpose. I'm so glad to have you here with us this evening. And if you have some friction in your system, because we all do, I have some, you have some, let's work together to fix them. So let's get into see who is with us this evening because I want to enjoy the folks who show up. And I'm going to say hello to a couple of folks here this evening. And the first person I'm going to speak to is this young lady, Miss Denise Jordan. Looking forward to this one. Yes, and hello to everyone out there. Denise, I always enjoy your content. It seems like there's some synergy there that we can work together on. The next person I'm going to say hello and good evening to is the emotional CEO, who happens to also be one of our moderators, and he happens to be my brother. So I'm a little partial, but thank you. He's a phenomenal moderator and support and everything. He keeps me straight, y'all. So welcome. Glad to have you here this evening. And then I'm going to go ahead and welcome my best friend in the world, Frank Jackson, who's also our community manager and a moderator. Thank you for being here, getting us kicked off this evening. So, gang, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, and that is let's have a real dialogue today. I'm going to try to get this off the screen if I can figure out how to do it. Um, have a real dialogue today. Share what you do, what's working, where some of your struggles are, your questions. Share those in the chat today. Don't just sit back and take it in. Just share if you're in the building with us. Share some comments, some questions. Remember to put a Q colon in front of your questions so that we can move forward together and I can find your questions more easily. Again, Q colon in front of your questions. And if you are part of the replay crew, I call you the magical replay crew because so much of what I do you get later on, not necessarily at this time. Welcome, and I'm so glad you're here. These 7 strategies and tips that I'm going to share tonight to reboot, restructure your scheduling system, just want to make sure that they're valuable to you. So let's get into that very difficult topic here now. Again, we're going to talk about 7 strategies and tips to reboot, restructure your schedule system, get you to what I call a known working state in your schedule management. I'm going to just challenge you to put your imagination at work. Just imagine that a life where your schedule is not a source of stress, but rather it's a source of power. It's a power tool. It's propelling you toward reaching your goals, accomplishing your purpose. That's what we want to transform it into. We want it to be a power tool for you. We want it to be effortless and to get you through your day and get you through all of the activities, not stressed out, where you can just really enjoy the events and activities that you are because they're the things that are most important to you, and only you can determine that. And then my question to you is, how can you do that? Well, the answer is in some of these tips that I'm going to share with you right now. And tip number 1 is create space to do schedule management. Now that sounds a little weird, like create space when we're talking about I've got too much going on. And let me share what I mean by this, and you hopefully you'll take away exactly how to do this. Pick a time in your week, every week, every week of the year. Pick a time in your week where your objective is to Get your schedule together. Get things on there that aren't uh, redefine what's on there. Gather together material that you need. I'll give you an example. I'm working on the February series, and I have a series of guests who are coming. And so what I did was when I planned out who's coming on what day, I set a specific calendar appointment, and in that calendar appointment it had, of course, beginning and end time, but it also has in it, in the description, the information each guest needs specific to them, what time they're supposed to do certain things, links that they need, descriptions that they need, some basic information. I did that during one of my sessions where I do schedule management. I was like, let me set this schedule up now. So in February, I don't have to think about it. It's already done. That's an example of creating space to do the schedule management. So be willing to take in all of the running and events and activities that are on your, take a pause, breathe, and say, give myself an hour a week. Get to work on getting my schedule together for not only the coming week or the next day, but for time further out. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, time further out. But create the space, the time, the room for you to actually work through doing the schedule management. So that's tip number one. You've got to have what I call the capacity to do the work. If you don't have the capacity, you're not going to do it. The second tip is externalize your schedule. How many of us keep our quote unquote schedule in our head? I know what I have to do. I know what's planned. I'm going to remember. Get it all out. Put it in an external schedule system. The schedule system can be a Google Calendar. It can be a notebook. It can be a paper calendar that you put on the wall. It can be in your phone. But externalize all events and activities that are time-based into something that you can see it together. I say that with a grain of salt. And here's the grain. If you have a situation where you cannot mix two calendars together, let me just use this as an example. I work in healthcare. So there's information on my healthcare related work that I don't put in my main calendar because it has to stay separate. However, that calendar is something that I do the same management activities on that I just talked about in step one. And then the rest of my life is in one place together. And I truly have externalized it. If you ask me what I've got on my calendar or what I've got going on at 7 o'clock in the morning, now there's some routines, but generally I'm going to go look at my calendar because I'm not sure. It could have shifted. I got an appointment on my calendar today, late today at the last minute. And the only way it would have worked is if I have this external tool that I use all the time and it's very consistent. So that's number two for you to do. Number three is to build this 2 and 3 go together. Build a trusted schedule system. What do I mean by that? You have to get to a place where you really truly trust whatever schedule tool you use, whether it's a notebook, a bullet journal, a Franklin planner, a time, I can't think of it, day timer, a Google Calendar, an Apple Calendar, whichever one you use, it has to be something that you actually completely 100% you trust. If it's in there, you trust that it's the right thing. It's the thing that is important. If something is not in there, then you're not going to think about it. You literally are going to look at what's in your schedule, and that guides you for your day, your week, your month, your quarter, and so forth. So make it trusted. It's your partner. It's not the enemy. It's your partner that you can rely on. I have a saying I tell people all the time. Put it on my calendar if you can find a blank spot. I will show up where my calendar tells me to show up. I don't want people calling me asking me, or emailing me asking me, or texting me asking me when I have time. I've delegated that responsibility to my schedule management tool. So the other person who wants time with me, when they can find a spot on my calendar, then they can book it. If they don't find a spot on my calendar, that means it's already committed. You're not going to get it. There are very, very, very few people in my life that is an exception for, like one hand of people. Outside of that handful of people, put it on there. And I absolutely trust what's in there because it's externalized and it works. So that's number 3. Number 4 is to Number 4 is to set your priorities. This gets into some of what I've talked about before. Setting your priorities, knowing the things in your life that are absolute priorities. I start with who are the people who are the most important to you and the highest priority. Spouse, children, siblings, someone you're the caretaker for, employees, clients, whatever they happen to be. Ministry, volunteer, if you're a volunteer executive, maybe it's the people you work with in your volunteer work. But set the priorities first with who are the people, and then what are the commitments regularly that you have that you're committed to. If you find that, hey, this situation, this activity, this organization, these people are not a priority, then you're creating some space to do something else. But set those priorities down. The second is, after you've got the people, what are the roles in your life? And sometimes people are associated with those roles. But what are the other roles in your life that are priorities for you? What are the activities in your life that are priorities for you? Give you an example. Somebody out there is going to laugh because you're going to relate. I am not, and never have been a person who does a lot of things in the house. I like the house clean, but I'm not one of those people who do decorating all the time. Never have been, never liked it. I like simple. And so that's not a priority for me. However, the things that are a priority for me are things that give me joy. Giving me joy, my books are a priority. So much so that I've had custom bookshelves built into every closet in the house. But those are my priorities. They don't have to be someone. So whatever they are for you, my best friend is a priority for me. My family is a priority for me. Doing things for my family. So those are my priorities, are things that I focus on. My ministry, my faith is a priority for me. So set your priorities and know what they are, and not just set them in your head. Put them down in that external system so that you can look at them and have that agreement with yourself. Okay? The next one is this one is the one that gets us in trouble, right? We cannot use this 2-letter word, N-O, no. But make a decision of the things, the activities, the events, and even the people that you're going to say no to, and actually say no to it and mean it. Be willing to say no. If driving Mary down the street around is not a priority for you, it may be for Mary, but it's not for you. Be willing in a loving way to say, Mary, this is not the season for me to do this. It's not being cruel. It's not being heartless. It's not being uncaring. but it is giving you, it's called self care and having boundaries. Having boundaries that you can work with, that create a schedule that's not stressful for you. Now, we know that there are sometimes some exceptions, but by and large, set that set of boundaries around your life so that you know. I say no to television, for example. I, for the most part, I really, really, really rarely watch television. I don't watch the news. I don't watch. I don't even know what shows are on television anymore. So that's a way of saying no, so that you make room for your priorities. You're just creating that space to be able to breathe and take it in and do and be engaged in the things that bring you joy and that are important to you. Okay? The next one, I'm going to go through these. I got two more and I'm going to go through them quickly. Number 6 is laying out your year. Now, this one is a little bit longer. Whatever tool you use, look at all 12 months and lay them out so that you can see them now. Don't just go week by week or month by month. We all know that there are some special days, some special times, some special seasons in our life. Example, for me, Passion Week is a special time. So I need to mark Passion Week in my calendar every year. Every April and October, my church does 31 days of wisdom. That means we're putting out content, videos, social media, and other things every day for those 31 days in each of those months. I need to keep that in mind and mark off the time to prep for that. It happens every year. Okay, we all know the holidays, whichever ones are important to you and that your family celebrates, whether it's Veterans Day, Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, something else. Lay them out and mark them so that you can see them. And not only that, but what you're doing to prepare going into them. So leading up to that time, what are the things? Lay out your path to get to that time. So lay out your whole year. And remember to put in time away to recharge. A week here, 2 days there, but put them in so that you can see them now and not do a Florence. Get to the end of the year and, oh my goodness, I got to take all this time because I haven't paid attention. So this, I'm talking to myself. I'm literally laying out the whole year. So that's number 6. Hopefully this is helping. I'm going to get back to you folks who are in chat in a minute. And welcome, Natalie. I see you. And welcome, Leona. I'm so glad that you all are here. Thank you for coming through. Okay. Number 7 is, and this is the final one, and it can be a little difficult, but that is leveraging technology. Yes, leverage technology. And by that, I mean, really, truly, if you've got a complicated life, you've got more than one aspect to your life, you're doing volunteer work, you're leading organizations, you're a leader. Those are the folks I'm talking to. You've got a profession, you've got a business, you work in your faith, in your church, in your synagogue, in your mosque. You have a family, children, spouse, whoever. You have a family. You have people in your life you're close to. So you have a multidimensional life. It is a huge amount of events, activities to keep track of. Technology is your friend in this respect, especially when we look back at number 6, which is laying out your year. You can lay out that year in a digital calendar and then week by week put it into a paper planner if that's your preference. But you've got it laid out so you can see it. There are some other things that you can use as well when it comes to schedule management. One, I would encourage you, especially if you have other people scheduling time with you. You're not doing it, but you have other people who want to schedule meetings, maybe, networking, colleagues, clients, brands, potential clients. Leverage scheduling systems such as I use TidyCal, TIDYCAL.com, but leverage TidyCal or Acuity or Calendly. Even if you have a Google Workspace account, it even have scheduling in there. If you have a paid Zoom account, Zoom has now put a scheduler in there. If you use Fantastical has a scheduler in there. So there are a lot of these different applications you can use now to leverage having other people put appointments on your calendar, and you're not having to take the phone call and respond to the email and go through the text message and all of that to get things on your calendar. And then you can say, I already know when I'm booked because it's in there. If you can find a spot on my calendar, great, have at it. But if you can't, the calendar is booked. So leverage those technologies to assist you. You can also leverage things like really generative AI to help you build things like a time block schedule, so you can see maybe you have an admin day and you have a writing day and you have a recording day, whatever those days are. Maybe your grocery day and your shopping day and your errand day, so you can lay those out and you can leverage something generative AI. And there are bunches of tools. Everybody says Chat GPT. It doesn't have to be Chat GPT, but you can. And I have a tool on my Buy Me a Coffee page, by the way, that I wrote some prompts to help build a time block calendar, really using Chat GPT, but you can use it in almost anything. So those are some technologies you can use, and they will free up and remove some of that stress because you're not having to manage it all yourself. Your brain doesn't have to do it. You don't have to take the time, and you work these items into your workflow. Lay out that calendar, and I'm going to summarize here later, but I'm going to go back now to some folks who are in the building with us, and I'm going to go back and ask you all again to comment on what are your practices, where are some of the things that you would like to know more about, to get this part laid out for you, and questions that I can answer for you. So welcome, Natalie. So glad to see you. And this young lady, Miss Julie, Ebony Ivy in Time with Leona. Julie, it is so good to see you here. Are you being safe out there in that weather? I know up here in Maryland, I know where you are, but it's been a little crazy around here. Been a little crazy around here. And we see Tech Troublemaker here, saying hello, and it's good to see you all greeting each other. Um, okay, Miss Natalie Johnson Lee says, I need time on your calendar. And she says, Lord help. Okay, well, let's work that out. Let's work that out. I will make sure you get that. I think you know how to get on my calendar, but if not, we can work that out. So anybody got questions? I want to answer your questions this afternoon. If you have questions, I do this every time. One day I'm gonna stop. If you have questions, put your questions in. Put a Q colon in front of them, and then we will get them answered. But in the meantime, I want to just kind of summarize and remind you of what you're going to do to start to optimize your schedule, to reboot your schedule, to set yourself in a clean state for managing your schedule. Start with creating space to do that schedule management. and then make sure you're externalizing it. You're getting it out of your brain into something that you have to see all the time, and make it a trusted system. Make it a partner that you really truly know you can rely on it, and what you have on your schedule, activities, events, even information you must know on a certain day at a certain time, that it is there, you will see it, you can rely on it. And it's every area of your life, not just one area. It's not just your health. It's not just your job or your business or your clients. It's not just your faith. It's all areas of your life. It's your business, it's your family, it's your home, it's your health, it's all of it. It's your volunteer service. It's your faith life. All of it goes together on your schedule so that you can truly see, and you can say when I need to shift something, you can see the impact of making the shift. But most importantly, you can trust it, your brain, and truly your mind and your emotions can let go. Your mind and your emotions can let go. My family who knows me know I carry stress in my stomach. And when I start seeing things like my stomach is in knots, my stomach is doing flips, I haven't followed these types of processes. And I know to step back. I fell off the wagon. I got to get back on. Okay? The next set of things you're going to do is set your priorities around the parts of your life, the roles that you fulfill in your life, and the people who are important to you in your life. Your family, your friends have one of you, they don't get another. So, how do you want to show up for them? The people, the roles in your life will set your priority. I have a friend who shared with me that one of their goals is really prioritizing their family. And I applauded that person because you don't get another one. And we can get so fixated on business and other things that we can truly forget and overlook and put our families on the back burner. So then learn to say no with gentleness and kindness, but firmness. Be willing to say no. Talking to myself, I have a problem saying no. My bent is to always say yes. In 2023, I had to embrace and start learning to say absolutely not. Even this week, I got an opportunity. I was asked if I would sit on a panel in February for Black History Month with a panel of leaders for a 2-day event. And I looked at my calendar, and I, with gentleness, said, I would love to. However, I'm going to say no. And here's some people I recommend that you reach out to sit on your panel. As wonderful of an opportunity as it is not the right time for me. And the last thing is be willing to leverage technology a little bit. Just a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little bit. So there you go. I'm going to check for questions and see if anyone has any. And thank you, Leona, for sharing. She says, thank you for sharing your knowledge with all of us. Well, I really get inspiration from you all, and I look at myself in terms of where are my friction points? What am I having to do to address these items? How am I going about doing it? And the secret sauce really is mindset. It's so many people don't want to think about it, but the secret sauce is our mindset around, and I cannot get this together, around how we tackle these problems. It it's not the technology or the techniques as much as it is how we think about it and when we sit back, take a step back and look. So if you want more information like this, you want to know more technology and productivity strategies, and you want to take and elevate your productivity system, I'm going to encourage you to watch the next video. Buckle up, get ready to transform your task management, your schedule management, and your information management for 2024. So you